All right, well, good morning, everybody. It's time for another garden update. We've got a few things going on that aren't the world's best, and we'll talk through ways to take care of it. And then I've noticed we've got quite a few zucchini out there, a few squash that we're going to go ahead and try to pick today as well. So let me show you what I got going on. All right, for those of you that's watched the channel a little while, you know I have a little side bed here that I just stick a few little fall crops in. That was the original bed that I built on the property. And we got a little issue going on here with it. Main garden is out here. We'll get over there in just a minute. As you can see on these leaves, I have this powdery mildew. At least that's what everybody tends to call it online, and I've seen it before in the past. But it's definitely going to need to be treated because it's starting to spread and grow pretty bad. Some of the plants are looking okay, but it's kind of running through all of them. Hopefully I can get a handle on it before it's too late. I had a viewer suggest that I get a product called neem oil, and I've already got some of that ordered and on the way, and I'm going to use that to treat a bug problem that I have in the garden. But I was reading on that, it's also highly recommended for this type of mold or fungus right here. So as soon as that comes in, we're going to treat these leaves, see if we can save them before it's too late. So that'll be coming up here soon as well. My bell peppers are looking excellent. Nice and dark green, loaded up with bell peppers everywhere. I'm just waiting on them to start turning because these are red and a yellow variety. So we'll see when that happens, and I see little ones coming on everywhere out there. I have noticed that when this powdery mildew started showing up just a little while back, it was in small blotches, then kind of went away, then kind of came back, and it started showing up not long after we put a camper here that we had to put here to get power to a power pole. The cord just wouldn't reach anywhere else. And I'm almost wondering if the first several hours of morning now, the sunlight's blocked. And I wonder if these are staying damp a little too long. That also blocks a little bit of airflow through here. But mainly the sunlight. It takes several hours after daylight now to get my first sun on this that you're seeing right now. So that could be part of the problem. They're just not getting dried out and getting enough sunlight or airflow soon enough. Because I'm not noticing this problem on all the squash and zucchini that's out here in the garden. All right, moving into the garden here. You know my favorite, and I am excited about what I'm seeing here. Look at this. If y'all don't think this corn's growing fast, my goodness. I mean, last video, which is just a few days old, the corn was somewhere in this range. Now some of it's taller than I am, so it's doing fantastic. And I'll tell you what's getting me really excited here. I'm starting to see my first little ears of corn. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing here. So we're starting to put on little ears of corn. There's quite a few of them that are showing signs of it. So I'll just continue to monitor the corn from here on out. And looks like a lot of these stalks for sure are putting on one. A lot of them are putting on two. And as they grow up even more, I'm expecting the majority of them to have at least 2 ears on them. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But really happy with what I'm seeing here. Still nice and dark green. Again, you can tell there is just a lot of nitrogen in the soil because the tips are getting burned up. But that's why they're so dark green, doing so good. So the peppers, every day I come out here now, they're starting to look like they just grow several inches a day. And I've been trying to look in here. I'm seeing a lot of little flowers and buds. And I'm starting to see some of my first peppers. So this is great. I don't think I am going to put cages on these. These look like they have really beefy stalks. They're holding up really well. Some of these over here I could put a few cages around. They're looking a little more spindly, but I mean just loaded, absolutely loaded with little buds and blooms. So I'm expecting to see a lot more peppers put on. The potatoes are still just flourishing, doing excellent. They're starting to flower out, still filling out, getting larger every day. So cannot wait to get into these, but they still have a little ways to go. Not seeing much bug activity in here. That's a good thing. Now on to one of the stories in the garden here. Still battling with ants. If you've watched, I've been having issues with them chewing down my okra stalks. They keep going to the base, chewing into them. I don't know if it's for moisture or what, but you can see the base of just about every one. It's chewed up. So I've started putting cinnamon out. That's why you see some of these leaves looking red. See cinnamon all in the garden here. Diatomaceous earth. And I bought a product called Orange Guard that I've been spraying them with. It's a citrus spray. It's all natural. And it seems to be making a difference. I am seeing a lot less ant activity now. But I've also got one more product going. Like I said, I just talked about that neem oil that somebody recommended. And I will be putting that out here as well. So trying to wage war on these guys. But it's looking like I'm going to save the majority of my okra. The only other issue I see going on is I'm starting to get some burnt tips on them. And again, I think that's just because this soil is so high in nitrogen. I kind of wish this compost had set a little longer and broke down more before it was sold to the public. But I didn't really know that till I got it. But I still think it's going to be excellent next year once it kind of breaks down a little. I don't know if these burnt tips are going to be that big of a deal. But it's got to be due to the high nitrogen. Over here, I just stuck a few more bean plants in. You know, I've got what I got. It's been a struggle. But the few bush beans that I do have here and some stuck over there, they're doing okay. Some of the cantaloupes I stuck here that I'm going to try growing on the trellis this year, they're starting to vine out and really take off. They look excellent. Speaking of cantaloupes, these over here look fantastic. Starting to see a little bit of burnt edges on these leaves too, so again, that's just got to be due to all the nitrogen in the soil. But otherwise, they're looking extremely healthy. Every one of them's vining and running out now. And I'm just going to kind of let them go out here everywhere. Some extra corn that I planted. Just because I had an extra bed. A few bush beans doing okay. Again, same story. A lot of nitrogen. Burning tips, but typically with corn, not a big deal. They'll take all the nitrogen you can throw at them. Our blueberries, they're taking the transplant very well. Been watering them in every day. I don't really see no signs of shock in them just yet. A little old grapevine over here, we still have yet to go get a few more that we're going to put in on the trellis. But we need to try to do that this week. You see little grape pods everywhere on it. And then the last thing in the garden, my squash and zucchini. And these burnt leaves you're seeing here, that's because I burnt the grass off and the heat actually come up and wilted the leaves there. So that's not necessarily nitrogen, that's just a little fire that come through the garden when I was cleaning up. I've been dealing with some squash bugs here. I've been working hard on them. This is not powdery mildew, this is all that diatomaceous earth that I've been blowing in here. So haven't really seen the effects of it just yet. I need to look through today and see if I spot many of those bugs or if it's starting to ward them off. But that's the only other bug problem I've been struggling with out here. Even with that said, this is starting to really produce quite well. So squash is just coming in. Zucchini's a little bit ahead of it. We're going to go ahead and pick some of that now. Now excuse the mess, this is technically our outdoor kitchen right now while we live in the camper. So we do a lot of stuff in here. Vegetable processing, meat processing, cooking. So that's why we have so much stuff everywhere until we get our house built. But today's score wasn't too bad. Things are starting to pick up more and more and more. I picked some of these squash a bit small just because, like I've explained in other videos, my plants are so loaded down with so many squash. I feel like I need to get a few off the plant so I can put all of its energy into one or two, not 6 or 7. There's a couple squash in there that's quite yellow. I'll cut into them, see how they feel. Usually when they turn dark yellow like that, sometimes they're a bit hard, but we'll check that out. Zucchinis are starting to do very well. I have several more that looks like will be ready tomorrow. And I left several squash on some plants that I can probably pick this afternoon. They grow so fast. They were just about the right size to pick, but I thought I'd let them go a little longer. So I'm getting more and more every single day as I pick this stuff. Now some of y'all have asked to see how we process it and how we cook it. We just did a couple squash and zucchini meals, so we're probably going to take a couple of days off. Tiffany made a fantastic squash and zucchini casserole, and I'll try to get her to show that here upcoming video next time she cooks it. And then sometimes we'll deep fry some of the chips, excellent like that as well. But what I'm going to do today is cut these up and vacuum seal them. I don't blanch them, and I know that's kind of controversial with vegetables like this, but blanching to me is more about texture than it necessarily is flavor. And I don't care about texture with the way that we're going to cook these. I'm going to slice them up with a mandolin into chips, vacuum seal them, and how we eat the majority of our squash and zucchini is we saute it. We'll dump those chips out later in a bag, take them straight out of the freezer, frozen, doesn't matter, put a little olive oil on them, cut up some onions and put in there, and do some seasoning, and we cook it down just like that, saute it in the pan. Tastes excellent. And it's a real quick, easy way to put these up, and vacuum sealed, I haven't noticed that they get freezer burn or have a bad taste even after many, many months. Alright, I bought this food saver processor years ago. It's the bronze one. It's called the Game Saver. And if I remember correctly, it had a lifetime warranty on it. Although I don't even have the paperwork anymore, but it's been fantastic. And I'll be sure to buy another one if this one ever tears up. But it's got a nice bag cutter in it. It seals a bunch of times before it ever goes into an overheat mode. That's what I love about it. Because when I'm in here processing meat or a bunch of vegetables, I'm sealing bag after bag after bag. And I buy these bulk bags 100 foot at a time on Amazon. Fantastic price on them. Way cheaper than what you get at the big box stores. And just like that, it's ready to go. Now we bought this mandolin online and I love it. It's not that complicated to clean and it saves a lot of time, especially once I start getting 5-gallon bucketfuls of vegetables. So I'm not in here with a knife cutting chip by chip. This keeps them nice and uniform. It's really easy to adjust. You can do kind of French fry type. It does a lot of different type cuts. But today all we're concerned about is just the chips. So all I do is cut them on a paper plate, get my bag, pour them in. And then next I'll go ahead and layer it with a little bit of squash, zucchini, and mix up both bags. Alright, vacuum sealing them is quick and easy. Try to get the bag packed down in. Anytime I vacuum seal something that's got a lot of moisture in it, it's wet, I put 2 seals up top because that's where it tends to want to release if you ever have a problem. And typically I don't. On the bottom, because the bags were dry, 1 seal seems to work. And by doing this, I very rarely, if ever, have a bag come unsealed in the freezer and get freezer burnt. But there it is, nice, packaged tight, practically no air in it. They last a long time. Alright, and just like that, 1 picking provides us with 2 meals. And it's coming in more and more every day. And I expect that it's going to reach a point to where I'm filling up a 5-gallon bucket a day for a while before things start dying off. Or there's a certain type of year around here, usually it's in middle to late June, when a bug will come in and actually bore into the squash and zucchini. I don't spray pesticides or treat. When that happens, I tend to pull everything up and I'm done. But usually by that time, I have more squash and zucchini than I know what to do with. And a lot of times I've done giving a lot away as well. So we should be good to go. As long as it keeps producing more and more each day like it's doing, we're going to fill that freezer up, at least a couple bins with vegetables, and we'll be saving some room for everything else that's coming in. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Like I said, coming up in the future, we'll actually cook some of this, show off a few little recipes. Casserole is fantastic. Frying it as simple as can be, but still may show that off with a meal. There's just lots of different ways that you can cook and eat this. We grill it with steaks, so grilling it's very good, long thin slices. And I would love to hear some of the ways that you cook squash and zucchini. We may try some of it. Thanks for watching.